So you guys recently got back from touring Europe, opening for THRS. What would be some of the highlights of this tour?
Personally, it's probably
What's going on? Yeah.
highlights of the tour, obviously working with Stradivarius, because they were just such fantastic, wonderful, down-to-earth people. We didn't know what to expect at all from them. We didn't know if it was going to be like, the whole rock god phenomenon of, don't look at us, this is our stage, and all of that stuff. But they were the most friendly, caring, passionate, fun people you could imagine. And there was just this connection between humour and Finnish humour. So for me, that was a huge highlight. It was like a family. By the end, everyone was pretty much in tears saying goodbye to each other because we all got on so well. So, yeah.
The man hugs.
Yeah. And ass grab.
Oh, no.
Oh. And not to mention the bro kisses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, Dave, that was a massive thing. I think it was the second night, Carl, Jason, and myself went out with Timo, and I think Rolf was there, and
Matthias
and Pavo, their sound tech. That was that Poland?
Poland, in Krakow.
Yeah, that was Krakow.
And I was just blown away just by how down to earth they were. We're all shouting drinks. It was just magical, and we got the feeling from then straight up that we're going to get along. And from that whole time in, it was like this sort of weird magnetism. We all loved the positive energy, and it really was great.
Great. It's always good when you meet your heroes and they're not assholes. You spend all that time listening to them, and it's just great.
Massive fan of Jens Johansson for years and years and years, and when I met him, his sense of humour is just as fucked up as mine, so if not more. So it was that.
He's got a unique sense of humour.
Oh man,
that's
very much so. I would have to say pretty much every single show was a highlight. The guys being so fantastic, like all Stradivarius being amazing, the crew being amazing, accommodating. It was a little bit nerve-wracking going on tour, thinking I was going to be the only female. But then there was May, who was the merch chick, and she was there too, so that was all right. But, just them being accommodating and just how amazing the shows were.
Well, you, Jace, how'd you find the experience?
Let me try and piece it together. It's hard to sum up like 6 weeks on the road, because it was absolutely amazing, and just to be able to see a different side of how the music industry works was amazing. So how do they do it in Europe? And I'm a real tech guy, so I really like all the gadgets and all that kind of stuff. So being able to talk with the monitor guy, and being able to talk with the front of house engineer, and being able to talk with the guitar tech, and all that kind of stuff, and just all the behind the scenes stuff, and seeing how it works in contrast, compared to Australian, and all the experience that we've had here. That was absolutely amazing, But also seeing all the little towns and talking with all the little people, all the local people in each show, ridiculously good. Everyone was so friendly. You can't say how friendly they were, and how accommodating and inviting, and what's the other word? Like thankful they were that we've made this giant trip all the way from Australia with the kangaroos and the koalas and the black bears all the way over. As soon as they found out we were Australian, that was like a game changer for everybody. That was they loved it. It was ridiculous,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
And what really worked for us, which at first I thought might have been a drawback, was we couldn't afford to have an external person do our merch, so we all did it ourselves. And most of the time, there was at least 2 people selling the merch, and that was a massive highlight, because that's when you got to meet all of the locals and get all photos and autographs and all that sort of stuff, but learn about the place that you're in. Because with some places, it's your traditional rock and roll story of, you're on the bus, you wake up, you're in another country, and people are like, oh, what's it like to be in France? And you're like, shit, we've just been here for an hour. But then you get to talk to all the locals about what do you eat there? Where's a good place to go? What sort of music do they like? Then that was huge. I mean, you didn't stop talking for about 10 hours, but it was so worth it. And as Jay said, they were so compassionate and were so interested in Australia, but even more so, they were so wanting you to have a great time in their country that they'd go out of their way. Like, for example, in Belgium, we had this couple saying how great their chocolate is. Have we tried their chocolate? And we're like, no. So they went out and bought like 6 bars of chocolate. I mean, who does that? And then we had other people. One of the interviewers from the Milan show, she went out and like baked us this traditional Italian chocolate dessert. People just were so incredibly friendly, so interested in us, but also so interested in us having a good time in their country, which I thought was just beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Would you say the relationships were strengthened by touring together for so long overseas?
Yeah, I'd say definitely. I mean,
without a doubt.
I reckon
any of us thought we'd so intimately see so much of other people.
Maybe I should retract the question.
It was
not in a literal
like
way.
one of the, I don't want to say like one of the biggest problems,
Not for
but
me anyway. Maybe for
one
the
of the-
boys.
yeah, well, for the boys, definitely. Like one of the things, you got to have a shower, and let's just say like the facilities. Some facilities were great, so all the venues have showers, and dressing rooms and that kind of stuff, and but some of the showers weren't as maintained as other showers, and and some of them were communal in a sense. So everybody got to learn a little bit about everybody else on this tour.
And I was like,
including the other bands.
I'm showering in my bathers. Everyone, where are you? Stay where you are.
Oh, man. Would you say, moving forward as Divine Ascension, the tour is going to change the way you guys write music together?
Maybe.
I think
That's
we
an
got a
interesting
different perspective,
question,
didn't we?
Yeah.
I think we're always going to be Divine Ascension, though. We're always going to write songs that manifest themselves out of all of us. But so we're not going to let an environment, or like, not environmental, but like a situational thing kind of dictate the way we write music. But the experiences that we had are definitely going to be considered and put into the songwriting.
Okay.
I suppose, Dave, because even though even though we've done the European tour, we all still come home to our normal lives, So we all step back into our normal lives with our family catch-ups and our work and everything else that we have to do. So that doesn't change. So in the way that we caught up before, I don't think that's going to change us to that. But I think definitely our relationships have strengthened. So that may affect, the music. Who knows? I think we're all on a similar wavelength anyway, to start with. So, we'll just see, I suppose.
Very cool. When you get back from a tour, especially an overseas one, is there a stage of adjusting back into a normal life?
You have to, in the interview here, you have to do like big laugh from everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's just, you go from, it's almost, to be honest, it's almost like this weird social experiment where you go from everything going 100 miles an hour, waking up in a new country every day, meeting new people every day, meeting fans from the other side of the world every day, signing autographs, doing the whole, blah, 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 traditional rock star bullshit thing, and having, most importantly, the best time of your life, to sort of coming back and you're changed as a person, but your house is still the same. Everybody else is still pretty much the same.
Australia's still flat.
Yeah, Australia's still very, very hot. And, you come back and you're just like, wow, did that, what I just did that actually just happen? So it takes a little while, especially for me anyway. I found it hard in the first few days to settle back into all right, so now I go to the shopping mall because there is no food. You know?
I don't have a roadie to go get it for me.
Yeah.
We're not at a catered
I really
venue
felt
today.
like I was a kind of imposter in my own life. I came back and just felt like I was just watching everything, but I wasn't really here. That it didn't kind of fit. I was just like, oh, where do I fit in here?
Wow.
All right, yep, I'm here. It was really strange.
Yeah, you sort of. I don't know. I felt like coming back. It's that traditional bittersweet story where you're happy to be back to see your family and your friends and everything, but I still feel that I don't know. Part of home is still in Europe. I thought the experience was so great, and it's so something I think we all want to do again and make happen again. That it's sort of the upside of feeling a bit, on that depressive side when you get back is that you know what it was and you loved it that much that you want to do everything to make it happen again. So I think that's where our heads are pretty much are at, because it really was, Dave. It was a dream come true, and one that I think we all know we have to do again one way or another.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So now you guys are home. What's the plan for 2016?
Well, it's at this
We've
point.
got a whole timeline.
Yeah,
It's all planned. It's actually all been planned out for about 6 months.
Wow.
It was planned out before we went away.
we just.
But yeah, Dave, do you go?
No, I was just going to say we sort of wrote once we got back, which is Carl and I got back a little bit later than everyone else. We got back on the 2nd of December. We knew that sort of crazy time there wasn't going to be much time to catch up. So everyone sort of does their own sort of songwriting, putting down stuff into Cubase and everything like that. And then poor Jen was like, all right, guys, we should all catch up and do this. But it just gets to that crazy time in December where this is just not gonna work. And now, I think now that everything's starting to calm down, the plan really is to get together with the demos that we've done and pick apart the best parts, put the songs together, and then get the third album out. Pretty much,
Well, 2016 is the goal is to have the third album out.
Yeah,
and
go
fully
and have
written, track, recorded, and released. Yeah.
Is there a need to take the new album to a higher level than we had with the previous one?
I think it's really hard. That's a really difficult question, because when you're writing music, you're always just trying to write really good music. I think album 1, album 2 are extremely different. I wouldn't necessarily say one is, but that's a personal opinion from other people as well. But yeah, I suppose I hope so. I hope that our third album is kick-ass and we've got like a whole heap of awesome songs. Who knows? Some people might like album 2 or album 1 better than album 3. But yeah, it's all, I suppose, different perspectives. Yeah.
Yeah. Lyric-wise, your music has a lot of substance and covers a lot of important themes and issues. Is this part of the attraction of performing heavy music? And what do you think attracts fans to this type of music?
I think lyrics are the kind of the final thing generally. Yeah, unless you're watching a lyric video, you kind of the first thing that attracts people to the music is the actual music itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you hear something and you like it. You like the sound, you like the instruments, you relate to it. You like the heaviness because you like heavy music, or you like the substance or the technicality or whatever in it. And then that's when you sit down and you listen properly. So lyrically, I think generally if people have gone that far to listen to the lyrics, it's because they really, really care. When I'm writing lyrics, I like to kind of put a lot of substance in it because of that reason, because people that take the time to actually listen and work out or read the booklet or look up the lyrics really, really want to know your music and really want to understand behind the scenes or the essence of the song.
Anyway, that's how it works. Like everyone does with demos and stuff. I mean, Carl, I'm not sure if Carl feels the same way when he's done his, but when I've come up with a riff or, chords or whatever, there's always something that is the idea, whether you're feeling pissed off or whether it's, feeling happy or whatever it might be. And then Jen, for her lyrics, when she writes it, will always know, so what were you feeling here, and what do you think, this should be about? So when we did Machine, for example, Jen was like, so what were you feeling when you wrote this? And I was like, I was pissed off with work, I was just sick of, doing the same old thing. So then she took that and turned it into lyrics to Machine. So, yeah, the music comes first and then Jen puts the lyrics at the end, but is great in regards to how she'll always ask, well, what were you feeling when you did this? So that it's not detached from what the actual song is about, if that makes sense.
Well, Carl kind of makes it harder these days because Carl doesn't tell me he won't tell me what it's about, and he makes me guess. So then I have to try and make it up.
You're talking about pushing people, and that's my way of giving people a little nudge to work a little bit harder in the band.
And Sex Change,
like doubling, like making a 16-bar solo section instead of an 8-bar.
The longer the solo, the better. The longer the solo, the better.
Absolutely. So we're going to get ready for a 32-bar solo in this one.
Cool. Is there ever a fight between who gets a longer solo between the guitar and the keyboard?
Not really.
Not really. I always listen to...
Yes, though, it'd be entertaining.
I listen to Carl's guitar solos and just go, okay, that's my left hand, so now I'll move to...
How do I hang up on this phone call?
No,
it's gone from 32 bars to 3.5 bars. That's what you're getting.
8-note solo.
Exactly.
So you know what? I won't go there. Look, it's all about I don't know, sharing. Even when Rob was in the band, there was a 2 guitarists kind of thing. I don't know. With other guys have been in bands with 2 guitars, but it's always been I want this part or I want this part. It's always arguments about who wants to do the solos and who gets the longer part and shit. But with Rob and I, we were always, nah, you do it. Nah, you do it. And it's kind of like Dave and I a little bit. You do it. It's kind of like, nah, you do the last one.
There's always...
We don't want it. Yeah.
We joke. I always joke about it a lot. Like, we'll share solos and stuff, and sometimes we'll do dueling ones, and other times it'll be like a unison thing. But it's never like, oh, I want that. Oh, it's crap. Yours is longer than mine, which I never say.
Mine's always longer than yours.
Only when your mum's in the...
This is not live to areas.
That's off the record.
That's off the record.
Oh,
so, no, it works out well. It's funny because you've always got this... when we do the audience part where it's like keyboard solo versus guitar solo, we've always got this face like, come on, bring it. But deep down, it's just a bit of fun.
Absolutely.
But I think...
Deep down, we're hoping everyone's looking at the other person.
Basically, I think album 3 there'll be a lot more... I'm definitely planning a lot more of that sort of stuff too, because it's fun, it's entertaining, and it brings a different colour to the music as well, which is what I think keeps it interesting.
So when are we getting a 16-bar bass solo?
Oh.
We tried that with the last album, and only wanted a couple of bars.
Oh.
Yeah, we tried it. Well, that's all the space that you left me on the last album, so I might have to do a bit of a musical interlude, perhaps.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sort it out, Jace. That'd be awesome.
You
Alright,
can
we'll
start
see
with
what
track 1 and
Yeah, cool. Bring it on.
finish by track 12. Whole album is an interlude.
Yeah.
Go ahead, mate.
We'll give it a crack. What do you reckon?
Jason's bass solo.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the name of album 3.
Record low album sales.
Yeah. It's like condemning reviews from all around the world.
This album really hit a low note.
Oh. That's punful.
Yeah. Oh.
So,
Sorry, that's terrible.
ah,
Keep going.
This is why we can't have nice things on our albums, because it never gets done. We just make too many
It
jokes.
never gets done.
jokes are awesome. Carl, I asked the guys earlier what the best experience about touring overseas was with Stradivarius. What was the highlights for you?
Well, obviously seeing different places and meeting different people was kind of the biggest thing for me. I don't know, it's so hard to pick one point, but I guess the biggest thing for me with the entire tour, and something that will kind of stick with me, my background is Polish. So my granddad, or my pop, left Poland when he was very, very young. And when we went over and we went and played in Warsaw, I remember halfway through the set looking up during, I think it was Liberator, and seeing front row with about 4 or 5 people all holding this giant Australian flag, waving it and kind of going crazy. And that, I remember missing the chord that I was supposed to play and playing a completely different, wrong chord, because I was looking at this flag going, wow, here I am on the other side of the world, kind of in the homeland, and there's people with a giant Australian flag cheering out all our lyrics to the song.
And I was singing all the words.
Wow.
Yeah, they might have been yelling random stuff in Polish that we suck or something. I don't know. But yeah, that was kind of the highlight for me. I didn't hear gówno, which means shit in Polish, so I
It's internet radio.
Yeah. So yeah, and actually the other day I went and just before Christmas I went and we had a family barbecue, and I got to see my granddad, who's 91 this year, and he straight away kind of pushed past everyone to come up and ask about it. And I told him that what happened in Warsaw, and he had tears in his eyes, because there hasn't been many of us that have gone back from my family have gone back to kind of the homeland. So yeah, it was quite nice.
Wow, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, so there's many things that were really, really cool, but that was something that will stick with me. Touring with the guys and meeting heaps of cool people, like the Strat crew and the band were just unbelievably amazing. Like, yeah, words can't describe how nice they are.
Seems to be
it
the
was a
general
real pleasure.
Seems like you guys had an awesome time, man. So
yeah, it's just good fun.
Did you convince Stradivarius to come back to Australia, though?
I tried really hard, I don't know, but they just said that there wasn't enough keyboard solos in our music. So they said if there's another album with there's more keyboard solos, that maybe they'll come over.
Hey, you don't have to ask me for more.
Floodgates.
It's my 4-minute introduction to something.
While we were trying to convince them as well, we were also telling them about all the scary creatures in Australia as well. So I don't know, we may have also
alienated just a few people because of that. Spiders and snakes.
Oh,
but we were talking about in all seriousness about them coming to Australia, and I think the last time they came out was in 2013, because I saw them play. And they only did Melbourne and Sydney from memory, but they were saying that the amount of money it cost them to come over and do those shows was pretty much, they barely broke even. So it'll all come down to finances, whether they come out again. And they came in, kind of flew in, played a show that night, had a day off, played the next show, and then flew out that same day kind of thing. So yeah. It makes it difficult, when a band has to spend that kind of money to come over here. And I kind of understand that, it's a big investment.
Yeah.
Very big risk. So
Speaking of that, putting that on the flip side, did you guys break even having toured around for so long overseas?
No.
We would have liked to.
Can we do that?
But I think it was
insert giant laugh here again.
Yeah, I think also it was, we'd actually expected our merch sales to be a little bit higher. We didn't take into consideration that Eastern Europe, a lot of the countries that we toured for the first half of our tour were quite poor. Yeah. So it was even though it was quite cheap for people to get into a show as compared to what it would be to see Stradivarius, say, or Sydney, it was a fair expense for these people to get there in the first place. So they would come up and they would talk to us. They'd look at the albums, but they wouldn't be able to afford to buy one. So it was awesome to meet all of these people, like around the Eastern Europe part of things. But that kind of was a little bit unexpected for us, as we were expecting to be able to sell a little bit more merch than we did to help finance our tour. But yeah, unfortunately that wasn't the case. So, but the rest of Europe wasn't too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's quite good. Yeah, I mean, if you were to do something like that of that extent as a holiday, you would spend more than what we did on the tour. So it worked out good for us, because I mean, if we were to do another tour in Europe in the coming years, a lot of those places that we went on tour with Stradivarius, like those really far eastern places or Eastern European places, we probably wouldn't play. I mean, there was 4 or 5 Spanish shows, and that's kind of unheard of in the European tour kind of section. Most of them are bands tour around Germany and then kind of just play select shows outside of Germany. But European tour usually involves Germany, and then your London kind of shows. So we were lucky in respect that we got to see a lot more places that we might never have seen or never will see. A lot of bands don't. So it's a bit of a trade-off. We don't earn as much money from those kinds of shows, but we got to see places that were very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also difficult because we had to sell our merchandise at basically the same price. Well, not basically, exactly the same price as Stradivarius and as well as Glory Hammer. And that's quite difficult because if people come to a show and they see 3 bands, obviously Stradivarius is the headlining bands will buy their merch. And don't get me wrong, we sold a lot of merch. Like, we're not crying poor over that or anything like that, but it was a big ask for people to shell out so much money when there's 3 bands, so much merch. So I think if it was just 2 bands, it would have been a lot better. But when there's 3 bands and a hell of a lot of different, not just T-shirts, but there was records, beanies, stickers, all of that sort of stuff. There's a hell of a lot there, so that made it a little bit more difficult. But I think we actually did quite well considering, because we actually did sell our own merch. We were there and people came over and wanted to get photos with the band. We had our little Scratch, the Drop Bear mascot, there all the time. So, all the girls loved to get a photo with him and all that stuff. So we had little tools that helped out along the way. And also the exchange rate was great on the way back.
Awesome.
So that was
It was financially, a loss, but I guess experience-wise, it was definitely a positive.
Oh, definite win.
Yeah.
Going back to lyrics of your guys' songs, the song "Stronger" really is a song that stands out for me. As a parent to a little girl, I'd rather she listen to stuff like this than a lot of the crap that's in the charts, and like the pop stuff like Miley Cyrus. Is there a story behind this song?
Not really. It's kind of more of a general, in terms of lyrics. I'm just trying to think because it's been a while now. It's just kind of a general general growth, personal growth song, I suppose. Just as you go through life and learn things, you become stronger and, learn more and learn how to deal with situations better. I think I like that it is one of our kind of more uplifting songs, I suppose.
Yep.
And I hope that people can get that from the lyrics. But I think I like to kind of keep them quite general. Like, it's hard in that sense that sometimes there might be parts of it that are quite personal, but then I like to try and rewrite the lyrics to make them quite general so that each individual person can take something different out of the song without hearing necessarily what it was initially written about.
Okay. So it makes it personal for everyone.
So people can interpret
their own meaning.
Interpret the music. In their own meaning. So just vague enough to sort of
it reaches
piece the puzzle together.
Reaches a lot more people that way too.
Absolutely, and one thing about being Stronger does that. Like, being a musician and writing songs, you get to reach a lot of people, and you're influential. Even if you don't think you are, you still are. And so what are you going to say? Are you going to talk about, smoking weed and drinking and being in dark club and all that kind of stuff? Or are you going to do something a little bit more substantial and sort of contribute to society by producing some kind of empowering song, that, like you say, you'd rather your little girl listen to that than a Miley Cyrus song. So, we do have a certain level of responsibility to sort of contribute.
Yeah.
I
totally agree with that. I think that music really, music to some people means more than it does to other people. Sometimes music can mean, there's a lot of people out there that don't have a lot in their lives or in their worlds or even maybe family or whatever, and music is all they have. Yeah. So if you're going to write something that's going to affect people positively. That's how I think anyway.
Absolutely.
And it does have a positive effect. Like, just touching on that Eastern Europe thing before, I remember there was a guy, I don't remember if it was in Latvia or it wasn't Lithuania, it might have been Estonia or in Latvia, in Riga. This guy came up to me at the end of the set. I don't know if anybody else was standing next to me, but he said that your music makes me want to live each day.
Yes.
So
wow.
He said please promise that you will keep making your music. And I said, yeah, I promise. He said, no, you need to understand. And his English was very bad. He said, it helps me every day. So please keep making it. So, I mean, obviously it's touching people in different ways, you know, so it's I don't know, maybe doing greater good than just hammering out some windmills and chucking some solos in, you know.
Yeah. No, that's an amazing compliment, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's quite nice. I mean, you get that kind of warm, fuzzy feeling inside, so, you know, it makes you feel like you're doing something a little bit more